Everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about niches. Niches are very important. They are like the foundation of whatever success you're going to have in your blog or in blogging or even in anything that has to do with the online space. If you're just coming across this channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. My name is Joy Unovo and I am a blogger and a Pinterest marketing expert. And here on this channel, we talk about everything blogging, everything Pinterest marketing, everything digital marketing. Okay, so now just have a seat, relax, let's just gist, and just talk about niches, profitable niches that you can venture into that are sure to make you up to $1,000 monthly from the comfort of your home. Now, if you're my student or you've been once tutored by me, I always emphasize niche. Very important. When I started blogging, I actually started in the personal development, productivity, and self-care niche. Now, I'm not saying that this niche is not lucrative, but the competition was very fierce and it was very high. I struggled a little bit in as much as that was what I liked. But then I had to dig deep and I was like, what's that thing I really know how to do? And before I went into the blogging world, I was actually a tailor, or I was actually a fashion designer. I still am a tailor and a fashion designer. But I had to go into my crafts, the creative part of me, to start blogging and teaching people what I know. So when you go on my blog right now, you're going to be seeing things like DIY tutorials on what to sew, paper craft. You're going to be seeing things like food and recipe. There is a reason why I went into those niches, so that I'll be very successful in blogging. Now, the first niche I want to mention here, of course, is food and recipes. Food and recipe niche has so many bloggers, but guess what? People are still reading these blogs. They are making so much money. In fact, that's like one of the most lucrative niche, especially when it comes to Pinterest blogging, driving traffic from Pinterest. People will always eat food. Recipes will always be developed. People enjoy seeing this thing. Even personally, most times I don't even want to create these recipes, but just seeing the food, I'm already salivating. And then I'm going to the blog to go and read this blog. Food and recipe niche. If you're somebody that enjoys cooking, or you just love teaching people how to cook, or how you love developing recipes, please start a food and recipe blog. I tell you for free. Start a food and recipe blog. And when you do that, don't forget to promote it on Pinterest. The second niche here on my list, of course, is craft and DIY. This is like the major niche I am into. Crafts and DIY. If you love making things with your hand, it's a very broad niche. Even the food and recipe niche is a very broad niche. In food and recipe niche, you can actually go into baking as a sub niche, or you could do appetizers as a sub niche, or you could do dessert as a soft niche, or you could even focus on just drinks, or you could do the whole food and recipe as a niche itself. Okay, so when you come to craft and DIY, it's a very broad niche. There are so many things to do in the craft and DIY niche. People do things like sublimation craft, people do things like paper craft, even sewing is in the craft and DIY niche. Okay, or there are so many things to do in the craft and DIY niche. Just think about things that your hands can do. All right. Even kids' activities are also in the craft and DIY niche. So you can go into this niche if you're somebody that really enjoys creating craft or doing things with your hand. You could even go into home decor, which could be home decor and still DIY. Okay. Because as a home designer or somebody that enjoys doing home decorations, you can actually do home projects. It's still the DIY niche, doing DIY things like maybe repainting your cupboards or things like that. This is also part of the DIY niche, but then in the home decor niche. So you could do home decor, craft and DIY, food and recipes. You see these niches I'm mentioning, they are solid niche that are ready to set you up for life. And then when you use Pinterest as your traffic source or as one of your traffic strategies, man, you're going to cash out. Okay, so home decor, food and recipes, craft and DIYs. Then the next niche on my list is motherhood and parenting. Do you know that if you're a stay-at-home mom, you can start blogging in this motherhood and parenting niche? Just look for topics that your audience are looking for. Or even with your own pain point, you can already tell that people are finding these things very difficult, and you can blog about what you did to be able to excel in it. Take for instance, you could tell us what you did to potty train your 1 year and 6 months old baby or your 3 years old baby. Yes, there are still kids that need potty training at 3 years. You could tell us what you did to potty train your child earlier. Okay, there are mothers that are finding it difficult to potty train their kids. in the motherhood and parenting niche, you could actually share this thing via your blog. And trust me, when you're providing solutions to people's problems, people will definitely come to your blog to read these things. And that is how you make money, when people come to your blog to read these things. So the parenting and the motherhood niche, there are so many topics, or there are so many sub niches under it. You could focus on toddlers, you could focus on family life. You see how parenting and family niche can still branch into food and recipes, because as a parent, as a mother, you can actually be sharing healthy family meals and also sharing it on your blog. You know, you can be making healthy family meals and sharing it on your blog. Or you could tell us things like meal preps, and also you could tell us things like, you know, the meals that you feed your toddler or the meals that you feed your kids. Okay, things like that. So the parenting and motherhood, food and recipe, crafts and DIY, and which other one did I mention again? Crafts and DIY, and then home decor. Yeah, home decor. Now, the last niche I want to mention. These 5 niches are solid niches, okay? The last niche, last but not the least niche I want to mention is fashion and style. If you're a fashion girl, you know, you love looking good, you can actually turn that passion into a business. Open a fashion and style blog, you know, teach us things that we don't know. Teach us how you are doing it, what is making you look good, how you combine colors, how you wear textures, how you're wearing clothes. You know, just teach us things. There are so many people looking for the knowledge that you have, and you can package this knowledge into a blog post, and then you promote it on Pinterest. And when you hear me say promote, I don't necessarily mean spending money. You can actually post your content on Pinterest in order to drive traffic to your blog. Now, have you ever gone on Pinterest and then you saw something that piqued your interest and you clicked and then it sent you to someone's blog? That person is making money from you visiting their blog. So you can actually do the same. If you have an interest within these niches that I've mentioned, or you can even do your research on other niches. There are so many niches that have Pinterest loving. I focus heavily on Pinterest. I'm always talking about Pinterest is because Pinterest is one place that will give you faster traffic. Unlike Google, that will take time before they're able to index, scroll your site, index it, trust you, and start sending you traffic. But with Pinterest, even as a new blogger or as a new Pinterest user, you can actually get traffic to your blog using Pinterest. Okay. So I always focus, or I always emphasize on Pinterest and how it can actually help you as a new blogger. All right. So fashion and style, food and recipe, home decor niche, the family life, that's the parenting and motherhood, and then the crafts and DIY. These are 5 solid niches you need to go into. If you're within this niche, if you have skills that you can actually share on your blog within these niches, then please go into these niches and just watch how your blog is going to excel. And then you'll be on your way to making over $1,000 monthly from the comfort of your home. I hope I was able to convince you and not confuse you that with all these niches, you can actually make $1,000 from the comfort of your home. If you're confused on how you can actually start your blogging or what you can actually do to start your blogging, go back and watch my previous videos. I was able to drop 5 simple steps that you can actually use in starting your blogging today. All right, see you next time in my next one. Bye.